A jury just hit Donald Trump with this record-breaking penalty for lying about a sexual assault accuser. Defendant Trump ordered to pay $83 million to the writer E. Jean Carroll. She is the victorious plaintiff in this case. And right here you can see as she first walked out of court with her lawyers today. Now, we can tell you the jury deliberated for just under 3 hours. That is fast. And they dealt Trump a huge loss which sets records and shows a very costly miscalculation that he, an ongoing defendant, made by, according to the court system, lying and defaming her again after a previous court victory. Here are the numbers tonight. If you've been watching the news, you may have seen some of this. I'm going to break it down for you. $18 million to compensate Carroll. Okay, that is what the jury found she should get for what she went through. And then that larger number, a massive $65 million to punish this defiant defendant. I'm going to walk you through why that is such a high number. The jury determined that defendant Trump acted maliciously in the ways that he attacked Carroll. Now, this is big in every sense, a large amount of money, even for a wealthy defendant. A huge punishment administered by this court system, which can extract the funds directly from a defendant's account. In this case, a defendant who has been found civilly liable. So it doesn't matter whether Donald Trump ever chooses to write the check. As long as he owes this, as long as this is the judgment and it's not somehow later reversed, the court system can take the $83 million from his accounts, from his properties, period. This also sets a huge and significant precedent, as lawyers and legal reporters certainly know, which is why reporters at the courthouse were literally heard to gasp in a kind of a collective, immediate, emotional response, gasped when they heard the $65 million figure that was first announced. It was far larger than most cases. The New York Times has that detail about the courtroom reaction today. Now, Trump did attend closing arguments. That was earlier today. He was in this very courtroom, but he left before the verdict and damages there were read. And I could tell you this PR-conscious defendant may have known how bad it could play for him to be there in the room when he was held to account and when this jury exercised its legal authority over him, its civil authority, to take money out of his account. And history can be instructive here. Remember, a court had already found defendant Trump had defamed Carroll. In fact, we always try to be straightforward with you. If you're going, Ari, I feel like I've lived through this Newsday before, but with a different number, you have. She previously got about $5 million in damages from him, again, over the same issue. A court process finding that he lied, that he defamed her in the way that he attacked her and denied her assertion and claims about the sexual assault that she says he perpetuated on her. Now, his insistence on attacking her after that, which, again, I'm just telling you what the court system found, has now been ruled to be more legally determined lies, that he defamed her again. It was that which set the stage for this unusually high penalty. You can compare $83 million to other cases. For example, take the different legal situation, but serious situation where a legal process tries to issue damages for a fatal shooting, for a situation where someone was shot to death. This case, we just want to show you one by estimation, by example, resulted in a $7 million payment. I can tell you there are other cases involving wrongful death, defamation, or other civil torts, as the lawyers call them, where you'd have $3, $5, $7 million. What you have here, $83 million, not for the original lie, but for what a court system found was the malicious, defamatory, ongoing set of lies against this woman who exercised her rights to detail her story of sexual assault. That is how it got all the way up to $80 million, this being one of the largest defamation punishments for any single defendant, any single person in history. It is a big news night, and we wanted to set out those legal facts for you and then bring in two of our experts as we make sense of this. Christy Greenberg is a former prosecutor. She was in the courthouse this morning. Lisa Rubin, MSNBC's legal analyst, has been covering this case for us. If you've had your TV on at all in the last days, you've seen her. We appreciate both of you. Lisa, you're there. This seems larger than most cases in history. How does it play out? How did it feel in the courtroom leading up to this? And what should we know tonight?
You know, Ari, every day of this trial has been tense and intense. And today was no exception when Donald Trump showed his contempt for this jury once again. There has been sort of a flagrant show of entitlement by him and his team all throughout. And that includes things like getting up, as he did, as you noted, during Robbie Kaplan's closing argument for E. Jean Carroll, but also things like his political aide, Boris Epstein, being in the courtroom and frequently standing up to hand notes to people, or his spokesperson, Stephen Chung, attending yesterday, not handing in his phone to security and having his cell phone alarm go off wildly. And so his contempt for this jury has always been evident. And it continued to be evident after their verdict, and they weren't buying any of it. They did not accept his attempt to remove himself and say essentially that he was above these proceedings. Rather, as Judge Kaplan instructed them, they took their oath solemnly. They understood that what they did today was integral to our constitutional process and system. Judge Kaplan gave them, as one of their last instructions, a reminder that in the Constitution, the jury appears twice explicitly, and that this court behind me, the Southern District of New York, where Christie was a prosecutor, where I did most of my practice when I was a practicing litigator, this court has existed since 1799. That's before the first time the Supreme Court met. And so sort of imbuing them with this sense of history and solemnity, that's the jury that awarded E. Jean Carroll $83.3 million today.
And Lisa,
it was remarkable, Ari, to see.
Let me ask you a follow on that, and then we'll bring Christie here on some of the way the case was tried. But Lisa, hanging over all of this is not just the number amount, not whether he runs for president successfully, or many of the other things that touch on this case. If none of that were happening, it would still be significant as a ruling that affirms Carroll's right to speak, and that there are consequences, there is a cost to defaming someone's right to speak. In other words, we've heard about free speech rights. I used to practice free speech law. It's not a right to do crime, and it's not a right to defamation. Defamation is actually against the law, as today's judgment shows. And so I wonder if you could speak to us about the law's response to that. In other words, she told the truth. She was defamed. He does have a right, as anyone does, to respond or defend themselves. But that doesn't include the right to defame this woman who told her story of sexual assault.
That's right. And when his truth intersects with a lie about her, as Judge Kaplan reminded Alina Habba in her closings, that's not constitutionally protected. What Alina Habba argued in her closing and in her opening, and finally the judge had to instruct the jury that this is not legally warranted, was essentially that E. Jean Carroll had a duty to mitigate or reduce her damages. You might ask, if you're defamed, how exactly are you supposed to stop your damages other than to be silent? And that's what E. Jean Carroll's lawyers told the jury today was unacceptable as a matter of law, but also culturally unacceptable. To say that a victim of defamation has to then shut themselves up to mitigate the damages caused by somebody else's lies is backwards and perverse, particularly in 2024, even if it is still a country in which Donald Trump is the presumptive frontrunner for the Republican nomination, Ari.
Understood. Lisa, you've been busy at the court. Please stick around for us because we're going to come back to you. I want to turn to Christie, who's here at the table with me. You've been in many courtrooms. This is a very high defamation judgment. You can speak on that for us in the context. What else did you think of what was not only a winning strategy, but an initial win? And by all accounts, Carroll would have left it there had this defendant not so wholly defied the punishment to come back on. To pick a different example for viewers, it would be like if after the Fox defamation case, they said, got it, we're paying, now let's bring Rudy and every other convicted Trump lawyer on and hold a panel. Whatever people criticize Fox for, that's not how their lawyers or their CFO decided to deal. Walk us through all of that, if you would.
So what I found so interesting about this is you had the first trial where the punitive damages were $3 million. That $3 million judgment for punitive damages included the sexual assault as well as a statement that he made, the defamatory statement in October of 2022, that was not materially different from these two statements in 2019 that were the subject of this trial. So why did we go from $3 million from the first jury to $65 million in punitive damages with this? Now, look, there are different jurors, but at the end of the day, the key thing, I think, is Donald Trump's own words. You know, it's like that Pink song, "Don't Let Me Get Me, I'm My Own Worst Enemy." Donald Trump is his own worst enemy here. He not only immediately after the first trial's verdict, he went out and defamed Eugene Carroll again. He was holding press conferences while this jury was, hearing evidence. And then he got up on the stand and again said that she made a false accusation. Now, that was stricken from the record, but you can't unhear it. And the jury clearly heard him get up there and say it again. Heard it from the horse's mouth. And so when you continue to do that and you don't show any remorse and you don't distance yourself from these vile tweets where his followers are saying that she should be raped and killed, when you don't disclaim any influence for any of that, the punitive damages go up. So he has nobody to blame for this, I think, really, but himself. That was the key difference in this trial that didn't exist in the first. And you see the difference in the damages.